What are information systems? This is kind of a catch-all term, if you like. A lot of different sorts of elements are buried in this term, information systems. Essentially, if you look at this diagram that we have up here, what you're talking about is a system which is made up of people, hardware, software, the processes that are involved in there, the data that we deal with, information, therefore data has to be there, and the networks which we use to disseminate this data, okay? So these are systems which are designed to collect the data, to process that data, to create useful information for us, design the systems, implement these systems, and evaluate the usefulness of the information that you've got. Every organization that you work for will have their own needs and their own goals. And it's the information system professional's job to make sure that the systems we come up with, the systems we devise, are useful to those needs, are supportive of those needs. If they're not, then we're not doing our job. And in our course, we will give you the skills and the knowledge to be able to do that. There are a number of different levels at which information systems exist. Now, this diagram that you see now mostly deals with a business orientation, if you like, but the same kind of idea applies no matter which area you may be working in. So right at the very top, there are so-called management support systems. These are systems which are there to support your leaders of your organizations, the managers, the leaders of your organizations, the CEOs and what have you, make the appropriate decisions so that the organizations can thrive within whatever environment they find themselves in. What kind of business do we want to be in? What do we want to do 5 years from now? You can't make those decisions without information. So information systems exist to help those people make those decisions. As organizations do their work, they create knowledge of how to do things, what worked, what didn't work. All this must be shared with other people in the organizations, with new people who come on board. And so we need to find a way to manage this knowledge, okay? So the idea is that these systems at this level support that knowledge management, knowledge of the work area, and if you're involved in knowledge work itself, supporting that work. Okay? Then in a day-to-day world, we have supply chain issues. By that I mean, no matter what you're doing, you're getting in resources from somewhere, and you're doing something to those resources, and you're producing output that somebody wants. That source to the output is what we mean by a supply chain. Now, you've got to get the resources at the right time, to the right level of quality, at the right quantities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of information that's needed to be able to do that. And so information systems dealing with supply chain management help you do that. These days, we are very, very conscious of the fact that we are degrading our environment. So these things called green supply chain managements are important as well. So as you go through our courses, you will find that we talk about these things as well. How do we make our supply chains sustainable? Okay. Customer relationship management, you would like to keep track of your customers. You'd like to make sure the customers are satisfied. And if there's any issues, to resolve them. There are things called CRM systems, customer relationship management systems. And these are also part of the information systems world. So there, you can see there's a number of areas in which you can get involved, a number of levels at which you can work, and different risks and opportunities exist at each of those levels. That's how information systems are used by organizations in whatever field. Okay. At UTS, the degree that we have, which deals with information systems, is the Bachelor of Information Systems. Okay. Just last year, there was a report produced by the Deloitte organization, the big accounting firms, on behalf of the Australian Computer Society. And they said that by 2024 and onwards, some of the highest number of jobs will be in the area of information technology and information systems. And the growth in the levels of job, the growth in the pay scales of people involved in these jobs is going to be phenomenal. So if you are considering information systems, you are at the right place at the right time. So there is a lot of demand now for information systems people, mainly because of the kinds of things that we deal with in a day-to-day living are complex. We're dealing with complex problems in very, very complex situations, underpinned by very complex systems. And so an information systems professional can help us work our way through those things. And because of these complex systems becoming so prevalent, you find that the demand for these professionals is increasing. So as you graduate, you will find that getting jobs in the IS area should not be an issue at all for you. Obviously, no one can promise anything to anybody, but the trends are good. The trends are good. The BIS graduates, they can use their skills to harness all the power of information systems, okay, in all sorts of areas like economies, social, business, health technologies, all kinds of areas, government, non-government. Everyone relies on information systems, and you will be able to contribute by harnessing the power of information systems and putting it to good use on behalf of these people. Okay, that's the idea, to give you the skills, to give you the way of thinking required to be able to work in these sorts of areas. Now, what are the kinds of areas that you can work in? Economists call these sectors, so we'll just use that term here. You can work in the world of energy. Energy is, when we talk about energy, we normally just talk about electricity, but energy can be more than that, okay? It can be sustainable energy, can be, electricity generation, can be any kind of energy system that you care to pick. So there's a vast number of problems to be addressed in the area of energy. We are always experiencing shortage of energy. Lots of places in the world have real significant energy security issues. So there's a lot of potential for information systems professionals here. Transport systems, these are becoming so complex now, okay? Information is the key. Information is the key. You would have seen driverless buses and those transport corridors where you can get information as to your bus arrivals and train arrivals in real time. Those are all information systems at work, okay? And someone has got to design them, someone has got to maintain them, someone has got to ensure that they are of the right quality to be used ethically, okay? As we go through, with the advent of technology, computer systems are getting better and better. Houses and roads and cities are getting smarter and smarter, okay? You walk into a building, the lights turn off. You walk out of a building, the lights turn off. These are all information-driven systems, okay? Smart cities are going to become more and more smarter, if you like, and you'll find that there's a lot of work in this area. So it's not just business, it's not just energy, it's not just any particular field that you can work in. You can work in fields that are of interest to you. Okay? Business is always there, obviously. Organizations and companies are always looking for information systems people. I'll talk a little bit more about the business studies a little later on. Health is another area in which information systems are becoming very, very powerful and very, very useful. Aged care, for example. People who stay alone at home need to be monitored, okay? And information systems are the way in which we monitor these people, give them the support that they need at the time that they need them. So in all these areas, energy, transport, smart cities, business, health systems, the other one that's not listed there that comes to my mind at the moment is disaster management, okay? We had bushfires. We had all kinds of communications issues at the time. information systems is what allows to deal with these sorts of things. So there's a range of careers that areas that you could work in, and a range of careers that you could pick. You could be a systems analyst, an information systems analyst. You could be an information system designer. You could be a business analyst. Look at the problems that the business is having and advise in terms of the kinds of information systems that would help solve those problems. You could become a modeler. You could model business processes. You could model all kinds of things. Okay, some of our students, at high-level students, are working on modeling the coronavirus epidemic at the moment, pandemic rather. Okay, you could work as a smart infrastructure professional. Earlier on, I spoke of smart cities. Here, I'm generalizing it to say smart infrastructure, smart cities, smart roads, smart anything. Modeling supply chains. Supply chains are, when I say from resource input to output, it doesn't sound that big, but some of these supply chains are global. Okay? Look at what's happened now with the coronavirus. Supply chains are getting disrupted. What's helping us put things together? What's helping us survive? Information systems. Okay? What's going on? Where is it going on? Information systems tells us this. You can be a data modeler if you wanted to. You could help companies and other organizations transform to take advantage of digital technology. It's not easy for companies to do that. They need help. And the kinds of skills you acquire as a business information, as an information systems professional will help business transform themselves into digital businesses. So there are very large number of ways in which you can contribute, very large number of professions you could go into, what kinds of jobs that you can do, because all of these jobs are underpinned by the need for information systems professionals. Okay? A little bit about the structure of the course. You can see this diagram, this table. There's some red bits in there, there's some blue bits in there, there's some gray bits in there. What does it all mean? The red bits are what we call our core subjects. These are the basic fundamental skills and knowledge that you need to call yourself an IT professional anywhere, an IS professional anywhere. So if you're working in the area of information, you need to understand these things. Now, so regardless of whether you want to work in smart infrastructure or energy or education or health or business, the red bits you got to know. Okay? So everybody will be going through these subjects. The blue bits are the specializations. We call them streams. Sometimes in other courses they're referred to as majors and sub-majors. But essentially what it means is that you can specialize in some area, which allows you to work in those specialist areas we were talking about before, energy systems, health, etc., etc. Okay. The electives, well, they're literally there, free choice. You can broaden your horizon by picking other information systems and subjects, or you can look at our faculty of engineering and IT, and pick any subject from that faculty, provided you meet the entry requirements of that subject. Some subjects you can't do because you need to do 2 or 3 other subjects before them. So given that you satisfy the requirements of entry into the subject, you can choose that subject. Okay. Now, you will see a number of studios in there. Our university prides itself in making sure that the graduates that we produce will find work and will be useful from day one. To do that, you not just need theoretical knowledge, you need to be able to do something with that theoretical knowledge, and not just do anything, do it in the right way at the right time. Our studios are where you take the knowledge you are acquiring and apply. You will be dealing with real world projects in there, oftentimes supervised by industry people, certainly working with different kinds of students. When I say different kinds of students, I mean not necessarily just information system students. There could be computer system students there. But the idea is, if you work in the world, you'll be working with other kinds of professionals. You'll be working with people you don't necessarily know. Okay? And these studios give you the experience to do that. Take your knowledge and apply it. Okay? So that's the way the course works. You come in at stage 1, and then you progress steadily through stages 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6. You can see that at the end, you have a couple of capstones. Capstones are literally that. You round up your entire degree, and by doing a couple of projects, show us that you are an IS professional. That can be your pride and joy. That can form part of your portfolio to show your prospective employers that here's what I can do. Very, very important for you. For those of you who are interested in business areas, we also have a double degree. You can do a Bachelor of Information Systems combined with a Bachelor of Business. Okay? Information Systems is, as they say, a discipline which cuts across many other disciplines. Our faculty builds courses with other faculties, and in this case, we've gotten together with our business school, which happens to be a sister school of ours, and said, we would like to create a joint degree, and you can do this if you are interested in the world of business. If you look at the structure of this degree, you will see that in an additional year, 4 years, you get 2 degrees. You get a Bachelor of Information Systems and a Bachelor of Business. And if you look at the plan year by year, you will see that in stage 1, for example, the red bits are information system subjects. The gray bits are business school subjects. So each year as you progress through this degree, you get a balance of IS, information systems knowledge, and business knowledge, which will allow you to integrate these two together. I'm learning these things about information systems. How can I use that in business? I'm learning this about business, and I need these information system skills. How do I get it? So it's a blended kind of a degree, which gives you a very nice integration of business and information systems knowledge. You can specialize then in an IS area, as I said before, and you can also do a business major. So you can specialize in the business area, finance, economics, whatever. Okay. So the studios are still there to allow you to practice the IS elements in real world projects. So that is sort of where we are in terms of our information systems courses at UTS. Okay. We don't really have any prerequisites, so we don't insist that you come to UTS with these sorts of subjects absolutely must done. Okay. However, we do recommend certain things. Mathematics subjects. You are coming into a technical degree, some level of mathematics is useful. English, advanced English. The reason we ask for this is because information systems, business, working anywhere is all about communications. Written communications, spoken communication, all sorts of communication. And if you can't communicate, you will not be very effective out there. Now, that is not to say that you don't learn how to communicate as you go here. We give you plenty of practice, plenty of chances to learn as you go. But if you have these coming in, it's an advantage for you. Okay? It's an advantage for you. We don't insist, for example, that you've done software design and development. We will teach you that to the extent that you need to know it. We don't insist that you know information processing technology and things like that. We will teach you that to the extent that you need. Okay? So again, if you don't have these sorts of prerequisites done, like advanced English and mathematics and such, there are also bridging courses that are available to you, which I think in a later slide we talk about. When you apply, you will get your ATAR. That gets adjusted by various factors to get the selection level. Okay? So you can get an adjustment by completing the UTS Engineering and IT questionnaire. It's a very simple questionnaire to complete. Just by doing that, we provide you with some level of bonus, dare I say. Good results in relevant HSC subjects, obviously will get you bonus. There's a gender adjustment there as well. And there are certain special circumstances where you get an adjustment to your ATA score. Your ATA score plus all these adjustments get you to what we call a selection level. And if you go over that, you're in. Okay. As I was saying to you before, just because you haven't done any maths, you haven't done mathematics at the level that we recommend, don't despair. We have bridging courses which you do before you do your actual first year work. So there's all sorts of support here which you can use to make your life through university, your academic life at least for university, easier. We also have peer assisted study support. We call them UPAS. These are your student peers who help you with subjects that they've done before and they've passed before in a very nice way. So there's a lot of support that you get. Your tutors and your teachers are always available to you for questioning and answering your difficulties anyway. Okay, so there's a lot of support there. Okay.
Of course, everyone, if you would like some further information and detail about all of the things Ravindra has just explained to us, you can visit our website, which is listed there. Likewise, if you have any questions after we've finished the session tonight, you can of course reach out to us via Instagram, Facebook, or our email. So hopefully, if there's anything you need from this point on, please reach out. We're here to help.